The United States has experienced three forms of government. The first, unitary government, was technically experienced before the United States was the United States. Back when it was the 13 British colonies, they experienced a unitary government, which is to say, government where authority comes from above. In this case, from the parliamentary monarchy, where all power flows from the crown, from the king or queen of England. At that time, a king. And actually at this time, a king too. So the crown had all the authority and allowed parliament to use that authority. And from there, any other authority, such as the power that was granted under home rule, was only granted because that higher authority said it was okay. Now, we also experienced a confederation, which is kind of the opposite, where there's authority from below and the powers below delegate some of that up. So in this case, it was America under the Articles of Confederation, where each state really had the power. These 13 states had a lot of power, but they delegated some of that power up under the Articles of Confederation to a national government. Thing was, that wasn't very efficient, as we've talked about. So we developed a sort of hybrid model called federalism. And federalism is not unique to America. We didn't invent it. It's actually somewhat loosely based on the system of government used by several Native American tribes at the time, and has been tried and used elsewhere as well. Now, American federalism is this idea that authority is divided between a higher level of government and a lower level of government. In this case, between the federal or national government and the state governments. So there are these two levels, and they each hold some power. And the Constitution gives each of these levels a bit of power to act independently and to influence each other. The idea here was similar to checks and balances, right? Similar to creating three branches in a federal government, that top government, to make sure that no one branch could become tyrannical. Same thing was happening here, that we divide power between these two levels of government so that neither level can become tyrannical, and both have to work together at times. Now, you'll notice some illustrations of this, including one that I give later on these slides, shows a lower level than the states. Local governments aren't a separate level in American federalism. They could theoretically be, but they are not in our American federalism, the way the Constitution implements it. Local governments are purely administrative. They don't actually have any of this national power and authority flowing from the Constitution.